Good morning, beautiful. It's lovely to see you. It's a different kind of morning here. We no longer have a blazing blue sky. We have some clouds. The wind is coming from a different quarter. It's cooler. I'm not complaining, by the way. Let me show you the flowers, because there's some really lovely stuff going on in here. There is the Luculia. See, it's really turning into a bush that's got white flowers on it for the first time in its entire life, because I didn't mistakenly prune it at entirely the wrong time. Good morning, Mike. It is lovely to see you. Let's see if I can get up close to some of the flowers. I'm going to walk in here, but you know, what's a garden for if you can't walk in it? There. There you go. Isn't it beautiful? I love the details in these flowers. They're just glorious. And don't miss the fact that the cherry tree's got lovely bark. Look at that. I remember being a small person and enjoying the bark on trees, so that's just a weird and wonderful thing about me. Flowers, flowers, flowers. This is something I want you to see. I mean, it's only one cane, right? This is a really old bush. Anybody who had any brains would pull out this and put something else in so that there was actually a bush. Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Jan. Good morning, beautiful people. But this one is flowering. This rose is called Maria Callas, after the famous opera singer, and well, it's glorious and it has a beautiful scent, so it's lovely to see it flowering. And we have I don't really know what this one's called. I made a guess. I sort of looked for roses, and but I don't know what its name is. The rest of them aren't doing a lot. We've got a couple of late iceberg roses, and I love them because they're just faintly peach coloured in the middle. Very beautiful. That's iceberg, and you can see there are lots of Japanese anemones. Let's walk straight through the garden, get up close, which are being happy because it's not so hot. I had to water them because they were wilting. So there are the anemones, and before they disappear, I'll show you the fuchsia because I'm enjoying that. It's just so delicate and elegant. Oh, there's a nice cluster of flowers. There you go. I enjoy the fuchsia. And we have wild coriander, which means I'll have it like a weed, but that's fine because it sort of disappeared for a while. And you can see there's a few dahlias over there on the dahlia plants. But I want to show you the heartthrob lilies. Here they are. Put a foot in the garden. And they're just fabulous. And there's something fabulous about this, the way the seed pods are there and the stamens are hanging off them. It's not conventional beauty, but I love it all the same. It has a symmetry and a perfection. And yes, I've got to deadhead the golden feverfew, because if I don't, I will have an invasion in my entire garden. So, those are the flowers today, and I'm enjoying them. And it's for me, because I don't really mind if the temperature's a little cooler. I'm quite happy that it's not going to be roasting today. So, yesterday afternoon, I prepped a post for today, because today is Insight Thursday, right? It's my choice to dig into my files, my recent files about what I've been exploring and experimenting and facing and overcoming in myself, and share that with you in the hopes that it's helpful. And I had something prepped, and then I thought about it later after dinner and thought, nah, that's not right. And then, yesterday evening I opened my email, and finally, it's interesting, I've had to wait for them. They seem to have taken forever. Not that I was hanging out to know, but some test results. And they actually weren't what I expected. They really weren't. It's like, oh. And the first thing that was really good about the fact that they weren't what I expected, because I expected a continuing improving trend, and no, I'm not talking about details, and please don't anybody say, oh, how sad, because this isn't. That's why I'm sharing it. The first really good thing about it was that I didn't immediately go into straight out, flat out fear and trauma, as I have tended to do, with any kind of slightly less than how it should be test result. It didn't happen. And I sat there and I thought, oh, this is interesting. which tends to be my response now when something appears to be going wrong. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And I observed my body, and it was like it was sitting there waiting for me to decide whether I was going to get frightened, whether I was going to get angry, whether I was going to freeze. My body's sitting there waiting for me to decide if I'm going to go into survival or not. And of course, I don't want to do that to my body. I don't want to do that to myself, because if I'm in the process of healing my body, that's not helpful, right? So the first really good thing that happened was, first, that didn't happen automatically, which is like, woo-hoo, because it just used to. Secondly, I was aware that I had a choice in the matter, and so I started putting my awareness in my heart. I thought, right, I just got to, shut my eyes, do a little heart breathing, take control of this, because if I don't take control of it, an automatic program's going to run, and I don't want that. So I did that. And I looked at it and I sort of thought, and I wonder how. And I could feel my brain, next step, wanting to go into analysis mode to try and figure out what I'd missed, what I haven't sorted out yet, what did I do wrong, what caused it, that whole thing. And I thought, no. Because whatever that test result represents, it's the past. It is already the past. I have changed so much in the last, 3 weeks or whenever it is since I had the thing done. I've changed a great deal. A lot of energy's moved in my body. I had a day when so much energy moved in my meditation and then moved through the day that I could barely function for half of it. Because it was just, whoa, my body's kind of vibrating and buzzing and my brain doesn't want to think, and really I just want to put my head down and sleep. It was big. And I'm getting more of that kind of thing happening. It's not so extreme that I can't function, which is kind of important, and the divine knows that I need to be able to get up and function each day, so I don't get these huge things that wipe you out for half a week. It's cool. So, there it is, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go into analysing this because that's the past. It's going to get me into analytical mode. I'll go into high beta. Another route I don't want to take. So, I can't even remember what I did. I think I just started making notes. I sit at my computer and I type, and I just started making notes and letting my thoughts organise themselves. And I thought, oh shit, what am I going to tell people tomorrow? And finally I decided, well, hell, I'm going to talk about this because at least it's real. So, and that was fine. And I put the words that you're reading or will read together, and just made the choice. No, I'm not going down the old path. I can't remember exactly what I did. I made choices to elevate my emotions. My little reminder came up to stretch and move and, do my eye exercises. And when I do that, I always jump up and down or move and wave my arms and generate elevated emotions for a whole 15 seconds. But because it's a habit, because I do it every 10 minutes when I'm working at my computer, up I get, and and I'm in this funny state, but here I go doing this thing that I've trained my body and my mind to do. It's like, oh yeah, right. So anyway, I finished the evening. I go to bed at a reasonable hour, but I don't get to sleep straight away because I had to do quite a lot of work again to get my mind to slow down to go to sleep. Because remember, when you are awake, you're in beta. Whatever level of beta you're in, if you're awake and you're conscious, you're paying attention to the external world, you're in beta brainwaves. Alpha is when you are imagining, your inner world is becoming more real than the outer world. And that's what you do. You close your eyes, you sort of drift off, you're thinking about not much. And then there's this theta, is the brainwave state that you're in as you're going to sleep. And if you're stressed, if you're wound up, your brain won't slow down and you can't sleep. That's what happens with insomnia. Trust me, I'm an expert. I have had insomnia quite badly in my life. Not anymore. But I did have to do some work to get my brain to slow down so I could go to sleep. And I know what to do. It just took a while because, it's not like I have music in my ears or cues. I have to give myself the cues and I have to stay present. I have to pay attention and my brain wanders. I'm not as good at silent meditation as I am at guided meditation, but I did, and I got to sleep. And then I woke up, probably 5 hours later. And I almost always wake up in the middle of the night. And these days I frequently go back to sleep straight away, which is great. But I woke up and there's a funny bzzz, bzzz, zzz noise. Zzz. What the hell is that? Couldn't identify it. Seemed to be coming from one place in the room. Actually got up and got a little torch and had a look. Nothing obvious. Didn't want to rattle around and make noise and, wake up the rest of the house. And again, it was so interesting watching my brain think, okay, it could be that insect that got into the house that sort of went flying past us in the office and then it never showed up and it's gone in here and it's trapped somewhere. It's making a lot of noise because it was like it was in between the window blinds. And then my brain, by association, started sorting through the files and said, what other sounds could sound like that? Oh, I wonder if it's an electrical fault, if there's some water that's got into the bathroom wall, which used to be leaky and, and there's a switch there and it's on. And, it was really interesting watching my brain search for solutions by association. What is that noise? Eventually it stopped. At least an hour or more later, I managed to, in fact, no, I remember, I don't think I went back to sleep. So I've had a short night. So the alarm goes off. No way am I going to miss my meditation. It's like, oh my God, I need it more than ever today because I'm quite incoherent getting up. And again, I feel my body wanting to go into anger because that's a rush of stress hormones that'll make me feel alive. Heather, good morning, honey. Anything not to face myself. But I didn't do that. I just got up and discovered, oh yeah, there were some moths in there. And I caught them and put them outside. Buggers, I wanted to strangle them, but you can't really strangle them off. So anyway, that was just interesting. It's never happened before. Been in this house for more than 30 years, never happened before. Synchronicity is doing something here. So I get up and I do a meditation which is all about the pineal gland. But before you start working on activating the pineal gland and having mystical experiences, you balance your energy centers and it's very gentle. You bless your energy centers and in the process of doing that, I lined myself up. I overcame myself. There was a lot of energy that moved. There were places I could feel pressure in my body, and it's kind of electric, but it's not painful. It's never painful. It's just, oh great, the energy's moving. There's heat sometimes, quite a lot of it. And it's, and I'm not menopausal. I mean, I am, but I'm on replacement hormones. And besides, there's no way that my body would be doing that at that time of day. It's energy releasing out of my body. So I'm thinking, and I mean, that was the reason also why I chose to do the pineal meditation, because the pineal gland produces melatonin, converts it into serotonin. Serotonin wakes you up in the day. Melatonin puts you to sleep at night. I thought, I'm really tired. There'll be a ton of melatonin in my brain. I might as well use it, right? So, I do this meditation. And the sheer relief of connecting again to the unified field, to the greater mind, to the sense of safety that I have been tuning into and creating and practicing and realising when I started it, whatever day it was, 5 days ago, oh my God, here I am, I've decided to tune in and rehearse and practice and experience in my own mind the feeling of feeling completely safe, and I don't know what that is. What? Have I never felt safe in my life? Nobody's fault, by the way. Just how it was. Nobody's fault. I was not abused, neglected, or abandoned, or anything. Just somehow or other it became habitual and normal for me to not feel safe. So I've been rehearsing that, and this particular meditation that allows me to do that really well. And it's been becoming more familiar to me. So I decided that today, when I was doing the blessing of the energy centers, that I would put that safety, or at least tune into that safety for each center, and that was what I did. And it didn't take me very long. I think I got to the heart, or number 3, and there you are. I know you've always been there. I was just in separation. I couldn't feel you, and I felt scared. But now I don't, because I'm connected to this place where I feel whole, and things are organised, and everything's taken care of, and I'm about my future and not my past. So, and I get to the end of the meditation, I do see some lovely things. I have some wonderful experiences. It's not like the full-on interdimensional travel thing. I haven't had that happen yet, but it was lovely. So that's the series of events. Now, the important thing that I had to realise, that I did realise actually, looking at that test result after I'd sort of gone, oh, that's interesting. And choosing not to go off into the how did that happen and what did I do wrong and what have I not done and, all of that. was to realise, but I've been feeling so well. So well. I mean, ticking off things that I had associated with that thing that I'm creating to heal for months. So, do I look at these test results and say, oh well, clearly that's all wrong and I should go back to being scared about my future again? Or do I continue to believe that I, through my choices, am creating change? And yeah, I know from watching and listening to the stories of people who've healed themselves doing what I'm doing, that it's not necessarily a straight progression. There are setbacks, there are turnarounds, and what I know from my own experience is that everything is for me. And if this is here and the moths wake me up in the middle of the night like that's never happened before, so that I'm really tired and I have to overcome myself and I'm grumpy and I have to make all these choices not to get angry, and I have all this release in the meditation, then that's what needed to happen. And those numbers on a screen mean nothing about my future. They just show me what I created up until now. And I've heard other people talk about that, but now I know this for myself. And it was a real decision, you know. Do I believe that I'm feeling really well? And I am, and I do. My God, I feel so good. And I remember the story of this lady who had a terrible, because of abuse in her childhood where she felt completely powerless, she manifested a genetic condition where her bones were basically crumbling apart. And she reversed it. It took her some time, took her a lot of work, and she had to overcome herself. And when she started the work, she was like this really difficult person. And, you know, Joe and her staff were kind of wincing because, oh God, she's such hard work. But she kept doing the work and she changed and she overcame it. And there was disappointment at which she said, you know, I'm feeling so well, but I got this blood test and it's still all wonky. And Joe said, look, and this is the truth, your body is always going to be catching up with your mind. Your body is always in the past. Don't sweat it. Just keep doing the work. You know, because she must have been thinking, but I'm feeling so good. How come the numbers don't match what my feeling is? And so I remembered her and I thought, well, I'm in the same place. Am I going to believe the numbers, which are already out of date? That was 3 weeks ago. Or am I going to believe how I feel and what I know about myself? Am I going to trust in the unknown? Am I going to relax into this present moment right here, right now, knowing what I know about myself, knowing what's already manifested in my life, what I'm capable of, knowing what other people have done, knowing what's true? Or am I going to let a couple of numbers on a screen say, oh no, you need to go back into fear, because that's real? And, you know, we face these things. And I decided to share this because, you know, Insight Thursday is what I sort of think of it as, is about you seeing that I'm no stained glass window with everything organised, no problems, no challenges, nothing to overcome. Hell no. I'm in the journey. I'm in the process. It's not about the fact that shit happens and things appear to quote unquote go wrong. It's about how we deal with them. And I think it's helpful to realise that, you know, every hero, every person that you respect has had to overcome themselves many times. They've had to deal with setbacks. That's just part of the journey. And so really, I'm pretty proud of myself. That's the other thing. Being very conscious, being aware of the choices I was making, watching myself, using the skills I have learned to manage this so I don't lose the plot, you know, throw a great loop, feel scared for a week or more. That's what I used to do. It's like, yay me! Wow, I really have changed. I really have changed. And, you know, I know that there is a strong connection between chronic fear and the system in my body that I'm working to heal. There's a strong connection. I understand that. I've spent my life feeling afraid. How long do you think I've been programming that gene? I've only been knocking on the door, really, for, let me think, I would say a bit over a year. I've been doing the work for nearly 2 years, But, it was 11 months before I even opened my heart, before I even really started to even begin to feel elevated emotions. And you can't reprogram the gene without elevated emotions. Although some people do, so I shouldn't say that. I don't think I really started reprogramming my genes. Says she who sat down to do first meditation and got a result. So I should shut up about that because that's not right either. But, am I going to say, oh, well, it's taken me nearly 2 years and it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to? No! There are people who've taken years to heal them. I mean, more than that, to heal a condition that they've been signalling their entire life, or they were born with it. Is it worth it? Hell yeah. If nothing else happens, but I become more the person that I've become over the last 2 years, where I don't freak out and I'm not scared, I'm not standing here talking to you with a churning stomach, which I would have, that's worth it. And I know there's going to be more moments, days, I don't know. There's going to be times when I will have to wrestle myself again. But if that's how it goes, because that's what I need to overcome, because everything is for me, well, then I know I can do it. And that's the thing. I know I can do it. I know I'm capable of this now. And maybe that's the whole reason why this quote-unquote turnaround manifested, so I could know that I can handle that. I don't have to get scared just because there's some external evidence that says you've got a problem. No, I don't. I am not this. I'm an expression of source as consciousness, downward causation, gravitationally organised light, having an expression on planet Earth. I got to remember who I am. I am not this. I created this. If I created this, I can uncreate the bits that I don't like. That's who we are. That's what we can do. Yeah, it's life. Our lives, this is something Joe says, and I reminded myself yesterday because it's so true. Your life is your initiation into greatness. You don't need to go to some hilltop school or, whatever. Your life is your initiation. Whatever you are overcoming, it's because to overcome that is going to get you where you want to go. And so, yeah, it's really familiar. This is what we have to do. And that's what I wanted to share with you. And I've just remembered, notices. Oh my God. I meant to say it at the beginning, I put these red things to remind myself, completely forget, but I'm building a new neural net. Just to say that next week, the Heartfield's going to be meeting again. And for anybody who doesn't know what the Heartfield is, it's my very safe and private coaching group. It's really not mine, it's ours. It's a very beautiful space where people can actually change their lives. You can show up as yourself. It's a place for people who really want to do the work and change. But it's not about digging deep into crap and analysing it to death. It's about creating change. And that's probably all I want to say. We meet once a month and I do a coaching video each week. And anybody who has a question can just drop it in there and I'll reply. So that's what the Heartfield is. And if you're interested, get in touch. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. It is always gorgeous to share with you. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.